For some reason, there's always bad news swirling around in the video game industry, but today we're going to talk about some of the great things going on in games. All right, I'm just like you. I'm always reading all the news and rumors and speculation and some of the gossip that's going on in the video game industry. And I've noticed over the last several years that there's been this real effort and energy to prop up all kinds of negative stories in games. And yes, there are things to be pissed about. I am not very happy with what's going on with Bungie and the art plagiarism and Marathon, which honestly, I'm exhausted over live service games to begin with. And I didn't really have any interest in playing Marathon. And I know lots and lots of fans out there of Bungie and Destiny and Marathon, the classic Marathon. I was playing the classic Marathon actually on my Xbox Series X. And man, we've come a long way since then. But it was kind of fun. You can kind of see the intelligence of Bungie as designers in that game. But this art plagiarism thing, not cool. I hope they rectify that. I hope they can turn this ship around with Marathon. I hope it turns into a great game and it kind of proves my doubt wrong, my exhaustion around live service games wrong. Helldivers 2 did. I love that game. But yes, I do think there's too many live service games out there. And the other negative thing that I see propagating right now is people are very concerned about the specs and the horsepower of the Nintendo Switch 2 and how it's going to compare to the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 specifically, and lots of talk about the way that it's outputting Cyberpunk 2077, which, by the way, is one of the only big games that's going to be included on a cartridge, which is the other thing, is the key card conversation that's out there. But this horsepower thing around the Switch 2 really got me thinking, and this is what I wanted to do today. We're almost at the midpoint for 2025. Summer Game Fest is coming up. A lot of reveals to kind of take us to the back half of the year are about to be announced. We're about to get the Switch 2. There's going to be a lot of movement towards where games are taking us throughout the rest of the year, but we've had a really freaking phenomenal year. And to that horsepower point, I present Exhibit A, which is Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition for the Nintendo Switch 1. This is an impossible game. Impossible that it ran on the Wii U, for crying out loud, and then it's another impossibility that it runs on a Nintendo Switch 1 so elegantly, so well, so satisfyingly, so rich, so ripe with lots of things to do and all kinds of awesome areas to explore. It's so beautiful, it's so vast, it's so satisfying. And I can point to Nintendo Switch games all the way through its lifespan up to Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, which is coming to Nintendo Switch 1 as well, and it looks incredible. Nintendo Switch 1 shouldn't be in the conversation in 2025 because it was supposed to be super outdated hardware. But you know what? Developers can make beautiful things happen on that machine, and now they've got more to work with Nintendo Switch 2. I'm expecting phenomenal experiences on that platform. And yes, there will be ports that may not run as well as a top-end PlayStation console or a top-end PC or whatever. But they're going to run, and they're going to be fun, and they're going to be fun for a whole bunch of people that have never played these games because Nintendo's going to open the door to these experiences for lots of players that are finding these games for the first time. And that should be celebrated more than the fact that the Nintendo Switch 2 is not a PlayStation 5 in the palm of your hands. Nintendo has proven that they can do a lot with the horsepower that they're given. Some of their partners have as well. And yes, we're gonna have some things that don't satisfy, but there's a lot to be excited about with the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2 and the horsepower it is presenting. But there are about a dozen other experiences that we can talk about with 2025. A lot of awesome things to be excited about and to be happy about. And this is my thing for you guys, is to search out those experiences that bring you joy, because I feel this deflationary vibe around video games out there. I see a lot of people making videos about it's the end of games and the game industry is crashing. Nobody knows what they're doing anymore and all these layoffs. And yeah, there's dark stuff. There definitely is. And perhaps there's more dark stuff happening now than we've seen in the past in games, but there is also a tremendous amount of beauty. Let's talk about some of these incredible experiences that we've already had this year. Monster Hunter Wilds, shockingly good experience. Yes, it's riffing and iterating on a lot of known entities across the Monster Hunter games, but it's big, it's bold, It's open world, the monsters are incredible, there's lots of great little secrets and cool areas to explore, and Capcom is still supporting it with new content, and you can make this your first Monster Hunter game or your 10th or whatever, and be overjoyed with the amount of incredible stuff to experience in this title. It is a wonderful, wonderful game. I just recently talked about Doom: The Dark Ages, which is another incredible experience. Yes, again, iterating on the known, but also introducing new mechanics with the shield and all of these great melee weapons and all the gun combat and flying on dragons and jumping into the mechs, which I know I didn't love that much, but the game is fast and beautiful and so fun. And I think everybody that's playing it, and I know there have been some launch snafus, they're getting worked out. Path tracing is coming to the PC version, I've learned, and so it's just going to get better and more beautiful, but it's already an exquisite shooter experience that just puts a giant smile on your face. Crank the tunes and have a frickin' blast with Doom: The Dark Ages. It's so bloody awesome. If you want to go indie, you got to check out the blueprints that Raw Fury has published, and I think it's available on Xbox Game Pass and as part of PS Plus, so you can download that and jump right in. It's a puzzle game, it's a roguelike, and you are trying to solve this mystery as you put together rooms in a mansion. There's nothing else like this freaking game, and it's so compelling and so addictive. And it's such a nice change of pace from the brutality of something like Doom: The Dark Ages, or all the hunting you gotta do in Monster Hunter Wilds, or some of the other games that are on time. There's nothing else like this title, and it's extraordinary, and you absolutely should be playing the blueprints. Look, I'm gonna talk about this game and other PlayStation games on PC in a video pretty soon, but The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is on PC, and it runs incredibly well. I've been playing it in handheld mode on my ROG Ally X. I've been playing it on the PC that I'm in the midst of reviewing right now, this MSI 18-inch super-powered RTX 5090, top-of-the-line Intel-chipped laptop, which is extraordinary. And the game is amazing, and it's such an incredible experience to get lost in it. And I've been running in parallel with the way that the show has been delivering episodes, and I'm loving the show. And I'm loving re-experiencing The Last of Us Part 2 for the fourth or fifth time, even though it's dark and depressing and there's so much brutality. The gameplay is tight, man, and it is really well presented on PC, just like it was on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro. For a huge change of pace from The Last of Us, I've got Suikoden 1 and 2, the remaster collection that came out a little while ago, and I reviewed that, and I was sucked right in. This is about, recruiting all kinds of different characters. Everybody's got their own vibe and their own kind of mystique about them and their own abilities and powers that you can bring into the combat. And it's just really fun to explore and look at the inventiveness of Konami from back in the day and what they were able to do on PlayStation 1 architecture. It's still fulfilling to enjoy these experiences in 2025, and Konami did a really nice job bringing Suikoden to modern consoles and the PC. Capcom did something similar with the Capcom Fighting Collection 2. Bear Safi and I reviewed that recently. Love the freaking game. 8 classics on there. Maybe not so much Capcom Fighting Evolution, but the fact that you get Power Stone 1 and 2, come on, man. You're playing Dreamcast games, beautifully remastered now, today, on whatever platform you want. Excellent pickup. Capcom Fighting Collection 2 rules. In the super evolved and complex RPG department, we've got Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. This blew my mind when I was streaming it earlier this year. I took a look at it again on the PC that I'm checking out right now too. It's gorgeous. It's loaded with a sense of humor and a sense of fun, and there's really brutal and dark elements in this game as well. It's about understanding the complexities of the systems and the resource management that you have to do and the alliances that you have to make and the conversations you have to navigate and the combat you get into as well. It's really well crafted, really enjoying Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. It's a smash in 2025. I think Ubisoft Quebec and the Ubisoft teams that worked on Assassin's Creed Shadows delivered something really freaking fun as well. Yes, it's very familiar, but the Japanese landscape that you go through, the 2 different characters that you get to play as, each offering a distinct gameplay experience. The story's a little bit convoluted and a little tiresome, but the gameplay is fun. It's really cool to explore these shrines and these fortresses and to take out these bad guys in a million different ways and to find all the loot. And yes, you're doing that a lot, but it's really freaking fun, and it's a gorgeous game as well. It's also one of those games that you can stretch out because it's so big and vast, and it's, a little bit like you have a part-time job when you play an Assassin's Creed game these days. but it's a fun part-time job, and there's lots of stuff to do in Assassin's Creed Shadows. Very cool pickup. One of my favorite pickups of the year by far is Split Fiction. This is the best, most satisfying, most rewarding and surprising co-op gameplay I have enjoyed for a couple of years, it feels like. Twists and turns and lots of imagination. You're never bored in this game. The best thing about Split Fiction is that there's this constant evolution in the mechanics and the gameplay and the twists and turns, and it's got a wild ending, and you care about the characters. It's maybe not as emotionally impactful as the storyline in It Takes Two, but there's definitely some depth there, and I just love all of these homages to these famous games and movies in Split Fiction. It rules. And Microsoft has finally started to make good on all of its publisher purchases over the last few years. First of all, to bring 2024's Game of the Year, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, to the PlayStation, and I've been playing on the PlayStation 5 Pro, and it's incredible. And I've worked with Bethesda and Survios to bring the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered, which is an incredible experience to dive back into. Yes, some of the mechanics and the visuals and the animations and stuff are still a little bit clunky and dated, but man, this was an astounding game when it came out, and it's a revelation to re-experience it now and to get lost in the complex story and to hear all of these excellent performances and all of this witty dialogue and to marvel at just how much Bethesda has impacted the video game industry. This was one of the most influential RPGs of all time, and it's wonderful to be able to play it again in this fidelity in 2025. But the only blemish on this launch of Oblivion Remastered is the fact that it came out in the same week as this other title that I'm going to talk about. It took some of the spotlight off of Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and here's what I feel about this game. Not only is it in the conversation for Game of the Year, it's an extraordinarily satisfying role-playing experience that's an homage to lots and lots of history in role-playing games, lots of Square games. There's a vibe about Expedition 33 that kind of reminds me of the gameplay of Paper Mario, because there's so much timing involved in all of these amazing battles that you get into. But I also think that this game is an iconic experience. Like the characters and the storytelling and the music and the way that it's all crafted so artfully done is going to be one of those games that when people talk about this year, when 2025 comes up, and it's going to be a big year for video game history, when that conversation comes up, this is going to be one of those games that people point to and have fond memories of. It's an incredible game, and it's got a bit of a Logan's Run kind of vibe where townspeople are dying when they reach a certain age, and some fearless expedition members decide to go and change all that, and they go off on a quest to take down this enemy that is wiping out their people. They get lost in all kinds of crazy battles with really freaky looking monsters and characters that are total nightmare fuel, faces missing, lots of big guys with giant swords, big brutish characters. There's this twisted symbolism of all this devastated beauty, all these towns that have just been demolished, or train stations, and just pieces of civilizations and dead bodies just piled up all over the place, and ghosts that you will encounter, and all kinds of little sound cues that you will pick up to kind of unravel the stories of previous expeditions, previous heroes that have tried to go out and stop this heinous recurrence of all of these mass deaths happening in this town of Lumiere. And you get caught up in all of the stories and all of these different wonderful characters, each with their own aspirations and motivations and, of course, abilities and weapons and skills that come to bear in the gameplay. And the combat is so freaking exciting and so well put together for a turn-based experience, and I know that that can be a turnoff for a lot of people. I'm telling you, this is some of the finest turn-based combat that exists out there. It's also incredibly challenging, and I did play a chunk of it at sort of the standard difficulty, and it was kicking my ass. It really was, and I had to shift it to story, but I'm happy to say that story was perfect for me. It's great. There's still a lot of challenge, and there's still a lot of you getting your ass handed to you and dying and having to replay bosses and learn the mechanics. Parrying and countering has never been something that's been easy to me. I have pretty good timing. I play guitar and stuff, and I can kind of keep a beat and a rhythm, but when I have to parry in a battle, and there's a big part of that, which kind of feels a little Elden Ring-like or Souls-like in this game too. So you've got this Final Fantasy kind of vibe, you got some Paper Mario kind of vibe, and you've got Souls-like vibes in this game, this sort of moody mysticism of everything. But parrying and dodging and countering, you need to find that timing, and I always struggle with that in whatever game I'm playing. And so when you're playing on standard difficulty, there's a little less leeway than in story mode. But I don't know. I have no issue with playing this game in story mode because the story is wonderful and the combat is still incredibly satisfying. This is an incredible game. There are some invisible walls. There are some issues that I have with some of the platforming that you can do. It's kind of side content that you can do. But there's lots of collectibles and lots of great rewards and just treats through this game. I love Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. So there you go. A bunch of great ideas to keep your chin up and to be happy about the video game industry. This year is wonderful for games, and there's lots of great stuff to be excited about. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you soon, and until then, play forever.